Look in the mirror, I ain't proud of what I see. I look within, I see a coward and a fiend. I see the fear, I see a liar.
I wanted us to catch up in an environment that is not like every other kind of interview, something a bit different to the usual setting like a radio station or a recording studio. I wanted us to be in a place where we'd be surrounded by nature, somewhere away from the riffraff or the white noise, but somewhere where we can feel grounded. So today we're in the Cumberland State Forest, a beautiful area which is a nature reserve situated in Sydney's west, a place that was traditionally visited by Darug and Guringai and Gamilargal peoples, obviously thousands of years ago, where they used to come here and get their resources for their daily life. So as we do whenever we visit these lands, we must acknowledge the traditional custodians we're fortunate enough to link on. In this instance, the Darug people. We acknowledge their close ties to the waterways and the beautiful, amazing forestation and country. And we send our love and respect to the elders past and present. Also, we acknowledge that sovereignty has never been ceded, always was, always will be Aboriginal land. If you take a look around, you'll see beautiful forestation, and for thousands of years, it was managed by the Darug people. They used to use traditional fire practices to regenerate the forest and to attract wildlife, which is fitting because the artist I am sitting with and about to get in deep with, have a chat with, uses his own fire practices to create lyrics, to form songs, to create memories. A true student of the game who looks to the golden era of hip-hop for inspiration and looks to past experiences for storytelling. He's about to venture on a new journey, and he wants us to take that travel along with him. Representing the Ghana people, the country, Adelaide, South Australia, indigomerkaba.
What a fucking intro, bro.
My man. I think it's fitting, you know what I mean? Like, especially this surrounding. I mean, like, what are your thoughts when you're sitting in a place like this?
Well, like you said, it's very grounding, isn't it? You know, it's peaceful here, the birds, the water, you know?
Yeah.
Very grounding.
Yeah.
I'm an earth sign, so it's
well,
fitting.
There you go.
Very fitting.
Yeah, yeah. And also, you know, it's not the first time you've been here. Some of the Metamorphosis video was shot here.
Yeah, the last scenes in this exact spot. So it's called a pick up where I left off.
Yeah.
With that clip.
Yeah. And speaking of the video, you know, like before we get into the whole metamorphosis and regeneration and transformation of yourself, you know, we have to start with the hair. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm a new man.
You're a new man. You know, like since you've began in the public eye and since we've known you, you know, besides the intricate wordplay and the rhyme patterns and the vivid storytelling, it's the dreadlocks. You know, that was your identification for so long. Why did you cut them?
I just feel like they served their purpose. You know, there was times throughout the whole time having dreads where I would have these fleeting thoughts of, I want to get rid of them, I want to cut them, but they'd be short-lived. You know, I'd go, no, I can't cut my hair, I need to keep it. But, you know, I feel like with the passing of my brother Tom, rest in peace, Tommy Gears, and then when my grandpa passed away last year, that was a big motivator for me because I remember for years my grandpa would say to me, when are you going to cut your bloody hair, Jordan? When am I going to get my boy back? And, you know, a multitude of things, I guess, had happened to me that were very life-changing over, I guess, an 18-month kind of period. And, it felt like it was time. It felt like it was ready for me to shed that version of myself and embark on a new chapter sonically, visually. Like, I want to kind of leave that version of me in the past, because I think, like you said, people have always seen me with the dreads since the start of my career, and there's a lot of, I guess, jarring moments for myself looking back at earlier parts of my career, you know, with taking drugs and things of that nature. So it's like, I got to a point where I didn't like looking in the mirror, looking at that version of myself anymore. Like, I connect it to too many bad memories. As much as there's amazing memories, it just felt like, yeah, it was time, bro.
And do you think that comes with, I mean, obviously comes with experience, but also age as well?
Yeah.
Like you said, you just felt like, okay, I'm actually ready. Much like, you know, you've touched on addiction and kind of getting out of addiction. Like you can't, well, it makes it a whole lot more difficult to overcome addiction if you're not ready
Yeah.
to take that on.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing like with the dreadlocks, it's pretty much the same. It was like, yeah, it's right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It was time, bro.
Yeah. And how long did it, to that point, was it growing?
Damn, I got them done in 2017, I believe.
Yeah, right.
So it's almost 10 years, bro.
Yeah. And what did your partner and the kids say when they saw you?
Man, I remember that first FaceTime call with my kids. My wife really liked it.
Yeah.
But in particular, my kids, I remember my daughter, she was like, no, daddy, where's your hair gone? Well, I'm still daddy. So yeah, my kids were pretty shocked by it. And I remember my mum full cried, you know,
right.
she was like, damn, you're my baby again.
Yeah.
You know, like, but yeah, it was overwhelming for me to feel that, mainly from my mum too, like, because it made me think of a past version of myself that I thought I had forgotten about. And I think that also coincides, I guess, into the reasoning why I've done this 3-track series, if you will, of, and you know, I mentioned in Metamorphosis, Indigo Must Die So Jordan Can Live. That was another thing that went into me wanting to cut the hair too, of like, through this music stuff, I really lost sight of who I was as a person outside of music. I put so much time into the grind and making the music that, yeah, like I feel like I forgot who Jordan is, what Jordan likes, you know, and
almost like living up to a certain expectation that people had of the indigomerkaba was.
Yeah. So, and that's been a real cool process too, is like, it's almost like relearning who I am again and getting in touch with myself, the true me, outside of music. That's why I took such a step back with the music, was to really, you know, block out that noise of the music world and what the fans want, I wanted to silence all that and spend time with my kids, spend time with my wife, my mum, you know, my family, and have those long and hard conversations with myself at night of like, who are you? You know?
Yeah.
What are you here for? What are you trying to give to the world? What are you trying to give yourself? You know, because I lost sight of that, bro.
Yeah.
I really lost sight of, it was just music. As people can probably see with my work rate, how much music I've put out in such a short span of being out as an artist. It's like, it was also time for that too, to take a break from the music and like, chill, get my breath back.
Almost like debrief, isn't it? Like, yeah, right. I was actually there when you did cut your dreads, the shooting of the video.
Yeah.
And I could tell it was an emotional moment for you.
Yeah,
but
it was, yeah.
because you're still filming the video, you still had to perform.
Yeah.
But what was going through your head as you were like each dread snipping them off?
If I'm real, bro, like, my grandpa, Like, I don't know if you remember, before we started shooting, I was listening to Elvis. I was playing My Way.
I remember that.
Yeah, fuck, bro, it even makes me emotional now, even just talking about it. Yeah, my grandpa.
And do you think, I mean, obviously, with his passing, you know, it's a lot of sad, you know, emotion, but I'm sure you would probably be thinking like he'd be laughing at the same time, like, oh, he's finally cutting those
Oh,
dreads.
yeah.
He's my boy.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Although the deep roots of your dreads connected to certain memories, past memories, and behavior and attitudes has been removed, the deep roots for the music still remains connected, stronger than ever. You've released, you are releasing a 3-part series of songs, like you said, addressing your evolution and reinvention and transformation. We briefly touched about it with the cutting of your locks, but why is this transformation happening now?
It coincides with everything I mentioned before of, you know, it's time for that shift within myself. But artistically, it's just, I don't want to continue to make certain music that people know me for. You know, I'm ready to grow into a different artist. You know, I will always do, you know, slow, grimy, boom bap type of beats. That's a part of me, you know, but I guess the content, the actual subject matter is, I'm hoping for it to be a lot different, you know. I don't want to make, you know, drugs and all of these different things, I guess, the sole thesis of my artistry anymore. I'm ready to, you know, speak on being a father, husband, just a creative, you know, fashion, you know, like, I just want to be me, you know. I feel like I put so much, I guess, pressure on myself to be this voice for people with addiction and this voice for people with mental health and all these different things, that it almost put a hindrance on my own growth.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Because you kind of almost stuck in this era of indigomerkaba or Jordan.
yeah, it was like people want to hear the sad, super introspective, the wallowing kind of music. Well, I don't know if that's what they want to hear, but I get a lot of comments about those, about those particular songs. And like I said, I'll always do that kind of music because at the end of the day, music's my therapy. You know, I'm always going to write about how I'm feeling in that moment, but I want to make music that feels happy, bro.
Yeah.
You know, not that I want to make kumbaya, sit around the campfire fucking type of tunes, but it's like, I want to make some stuff that's not so jarring, not so heavy to listen to. Like, I don't want people to listen to an indigomerkaba record and feel drained at the end.
Right.
Like, I want people to listen to this new perspective that I have on my life and the world around me and feel like
a certain hope or upliftment.
I want people to feel energized.
Yeah. Is that a scary thought, going into knowing that, you know, not like you've built your whole career off of that, but a big chunk of why people gravitated towards you was for that kind of music? Is it a scary thought to think you might be alienating them, like those that were there from day one?
Yeah, in a sense, but I like to think, aside from the content and the subject matter of what I was rapping about, the thing that people connected themselves to my music was the fact that I was always authentic in what I was living at that point. Like, when I came out, I was really struggling with addiction. I was really struggling with my mental health, self-harm, all the different things in that world. and they connected to that because that was my truth then. And I feel like the people that fuck with my music and fuck with me as a person, they're gonna fuck with the growth because I'm just being me. It's authentic to me now.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of a line that Jay-Z had. He would say, I like the old Jay-Z, and he's like, well, go listen to my old shit.
Yeah. Like if you need to listen to some of that grimy shit,
it's still there.
It's all still there. It's not like I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah.
Just moving forward, you can expect a different sound.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up that line before, because I was going to reference it. Indigo must die so Jordan can live. A line from the song Metamorphosis. Like, elaborate on that a bit more.
It's exactly that, bro. It's me making it clear, like, just to reference songs that I know people love. Like, you're not going to hear another Fits and Shivs from me. You're not going to hear another Filth. You're not going to hear Trophies. These real grimy, dark, I guess unhinged kind of songs. You're not going to hear that from me. And it's just like, to speak on the line is, I'm killing that version of me. You know, even in the video, like, burying like, that shit's dead.
You're burying him here.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, I buried myself right here. But yeah, it's that's what it is, bro. You know, I'm killing that version of me to be Jordan. You know, I'm indigomerkaba. That's my stage name or whatever. But I'm stepping into being me. Not that I was never me, but I felt like I kind of fell into the role of feeling like I'm playing a character a little bit, in a sense. Like, even the way I communicate, like, you know, I've been guilty for it before, bro. Like, if I come to Sydney, I'll end up leaving talking with like the Sydney accent a bit, you know, like, you know, I don't say fucking what's doing, lad, and that's not how I talk. You know what I mean? So it's like, I guess just I haven't felt more at peace and confident in who I am. I've never been this confident in who I am my whole life, really. You know, like I've always bent and chameleoned to blend into to different situations and whoever I'm around, because there was this fear of, what if they don't really like me? What if they don't like the real Jordan, you know? Whereas now I'm like, I'm so content in who I am as a person. That's what you're going to get.
Yeah, that's beautiful. With a lot of times of transformation, there's a lot of disconnecting and reconnecting. What is the hardest thing that you had to disconnect from?
That's a good question. I guess old ways of thinking, you know, reacting to situations differently, reacting to my own emotions differently. That's been, like to not jump to a negative emotion so quickly, like thinking shit through. You know, when I'm faced with an adversity or a negative thought or a negative situation, rather than react off instinct in that exact moment, that, okay, breathe or do something else, or
and you know, I'm guessing that's always going to be a forever work in progress. But has time allowed it to become a little easier?
Yeah, well, I think I've always been on a quest to grow as a person and be the best version of myself. So I guess it's just come from years of fucking up
Right.
and learning, you know? Like, it getting to this stage came from years of reacting in the wrong way, years of making the wrong decisions, but recognizing when I had made the wrong decision. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, looking back at certain things that I may have gone through or issues and going, oh, I should have done that differently. I should have reacted differently to that. And having that awareness of mistakes has helped me to be able to better approach things moving forward in my life.
Yeah. Which is great because, you know, a lot of people go through their whole life not recognizing that.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're still quite young, you know, you're 30 years old. So, like, to think you have a whole lifetime to enjoy this new phase.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've been talking about disconnection and reconnection, and the complexity of that, and how hard it is to disconnect and even to reconnect with things. You know, it's no secret how much drug addiction has played part of your personal life and your life as an artist, which we've seen throughout the years. You know, like how much drugs has been part of one's art, whether it's to help with writing or whether it's to get over anxiety before performing. Has sobriety made it difficult to deal with these things, you know, with a clear mind and clarity and so forth?
Well, bro, you know, I came to realize that, you know, I had this, you know, I was very open and I was very proud, I guess, and I was announcing my sobriety. I was, you know, I was saying 2 years, but, you know, I had an incident that happened after my national tour that led me to using, and that stemmed from drinking. So the hindsight of that made me realize you haven't actually been sober. You know, I was sober from the drugs that I got off at that time, but, you know, because I never had an issue with alcohol, you know, I didn't consider that to be me back in an addiction. You know what I mean? So, you know, that whole getting complacent, it was really on the tour that I was on with Chill in 2024. You know, I'm getting up and I'm saying at these shows, I'm so ever long sober, but then drinking after the show.
Right.
You know, not getting drunk or anything. Like, there was a couple times, but just that complacency of drinking led me to, you know, when I got off tour, I was buying a, you know, 6-pack of Jacks to watch the footy on a Saturday night, and that complacency with me always develops into something worse, you know, and it led me to relapse, and you know, that played into the reason why I stepped back and took a break from, like, throughout last year and stuff, to really do the inner work, to be like, okay, I need to commit to real sobriety. I can't have a drink on the weekends. I'm full straight edge sober now, and that's a great feeling. You know, I feel so much more clear headed, mentally well. Yeah, that's brought me a whole new insight to my life, because I felt so good even through the time of the Chill tour and, you know, having those drinks, but it was silently chipping away at that mental, and then, you know, it brought me to a position where I used drugs, and I was back in that cycle for a little moment. I pulled myself out pretty quickly,
At any point during that tour, did you have these thoughts, or you just really didn't think this was going to lead to anything?
No, like I honestly didn't have thoughts at all of this.
Like, this could be
is problematic.
yeah.
Nothing, because like I said, I never had issues with alcohol, so I didn't correlate it to the past issues I'd had with other drugs. And it's all a part of learning, you know. Like, I feel like I've just about had an issue with every drug on planet Earth. There's not really any that I can run into at this point. So it's been a matter of, you know, I've chopped and changed throughout the whole time I've used drugs to get to the point of realizing there's no safe amount of anything that I can do. And I'm okay with that now. I'm okay with that thought of being the odd one at family events who doesn't have a drink, or, you know, even in this industry, you know, it's just normal.
Sometimes being the butt of a joke as well. You know?
Yeah. But I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I'm fine, because I'm choosing my peace.
Yeah.
I'm putting myself first and looking after myself. For once in my life, I'm happy about looking after myself.
Beautiful. Because it can be hard sometimes, because that lifestyle can sometimes make the art and the artist. You know,
Definitely.
like, many argue that Eminem didn't quite hit the same when he became sober.
Yeah.
You know, drugs sometimes made the artist, unfortunately, that you fell in love with. You know, we could think of like an Old Dirty Bastard or Amy Winehouse,
Kurt
Cobain, Mac Miller, you know, and many others. Were you scared of that happening to you?
For sure. Yeah. I definitely went through a period of writer's block. And I remember saying to Deezer, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to fucking do it. Not on something, you know? And that writer's block lasted for the whole of a month.
Right.
And I was back writing shit. And
were you actually writing, but you didn't like what you're writing, or nothing was coming out?
It was a complete blank. I couldn't think of fucking anything, bro.
Right. That must have been like...
Oh, it was scary.
Yeah. Because you're writing every day, all day, and then to just suddenly stop because of this discontinuation of taking substances.
Yeah. Like, I couldn't think of concepts. I couldn't think of what I even wanted to say. Because, once again, it goes back to that whole... It's been so ingrained in me as an artist to draw for those, speak on self-harm, speak on feeling suicidal, speak on using drugs, all of these things. It's like, if I didn't have that to want to write about, or if I couldn't think of a new way to word these things as a sober person, I was like, fuck, what am I going to write about? What am I even going to talk about to people? And that was scary.
What was the first thing you wrote coming out of that you felt like, this is feeling good, I can do this?
Well, I'll actually touch on how, so it's kind of not answering your question, but it's cool, right? So Metamorphosis, I actually wrote that. I was high, right? And I remember just about to take my daughter to school in the morning, and I remember, like, my wife drive. I wasn't driving my daughter to school high. God.
Do not drink or drive. Take drugs while driving.
Yeah. So we're about to leave, and I remember looking at myself in the mirror and thinking, "How the fuck are you back here? How are you here again? You're about to take your daughter to school and you're fucking off your head, man. Like, the fuck are you doing?" Like, just looking at myself with this disdain and fucking hatred. And I had a pack of beats that I bought off Liam Thomas. Shout out Liam Thomas. And I remember getting in the car and I was welling up, you know, just emotional. I didn't want to be at home on my own, so I still wanted to come on the drive to take my daughter to school. I remember getting in the car and welling up with emotions of like, fucking so disappointed in myself that I'm back in this position. And I put this beat on through the aux, and yeah, touching on, you know, I was looking at myself in the mirror straight. That's what brought the first lines through. Look in the mirror, I ain't proud of what I see. I look within, I see a coward and a fiend. I was like so upset with myself. And I wrote that whole song, and it's almost like that song inspired the next couple months of going through that transformation of making all these changes, getting off drugs again and looking after myself and wanting to have this search within to find out who I am. And that, yeah, I remember writing the song, recording the song. I got home that night from the studio and I said to Deezer, I said, bro, because I got the bar, I say, as I made a deal with Morpheus during my metamorphosis or whatever. It made me think of, I wanted to do a track called Metamorphosis, and I called Deezer, I was like, bro, I'm going to cut my hair. I want to shift the whole way people view me. I want to shift the way I look at myself.
What'd he say?
He was like, you're crazy. You're not going to do that. You're off your head, bro. I said, no, I'm straight, like I'm 100%. And that was early last year. Like this is first couple months into the year last year. And then, you know, it was September that I filmed, you know? So
were there times when you thought, nah, I'm actually going to keep dreads?
Nah.
Really? So it was just always on, yeah?
Yeah, it was I'm committing to this. And through me wanting to commit to that idea, it made me really commit to the actual act of the evolution. Because it's like it's all well and grand to have this cool idea, this cool concept about transformation and wanting to cut your hair and change the way you look physically and all this stuff, but it's like it's all for nothing if mentally I'm still the same. You know, if I'm mentally not well,
it becomes like performative.
Yeah. So it was like it made me, like I said, it made me sit with myself and have these long, these uncomfortable conversations with myself at night. But there's the best thing that could happen for me. You know, and through this process as well, like my grandpa was dying, you know, like he was in a home and I was visiting him, and I already kind of had this thing of like, fuck, I want to be all right through his last days, you know? And it was like, when he passed, the thoughts of like wanting to go off the deep end and use and go fuck around, it made me go, nah, I gotta keep doing this for him. I gotta use his words as motivation. I gotta, you know, using my dad as inspiration, like, you know, seeing how much his, you know, my grandpa's death affected him, and thinking of how far me and my dad have come from when I was younger, thinking like, you know, even for him, like I got to keep strong. I got to there was so many different factors that made me really go all in this self-love and self-care that I'm doing. Like, you know, I'm looking after myself, bro. Like I'm really looking after myself, and it's good.
Yeah. And you owe it to yourself.
I do, yeah. It's been over a decade of neglecting my mental health, neglecting my physical health, and the performative side as well of, I feel like subconsciously there's a part of my career where I kind of probably self-destructed and self-sabotaged for the sake of content.
Yeah, right.
You know, because I see it with other artists. You know what I mean? You see it with people. Someone's about to put out an album, or someone's about to put something out, and there's big crash outs.
Yeah.
people on this self-destructing path, because it's like that's what they know.
Yeah.
That's almost like their sales pitch to the people.
Yeah,
Look at me, I'm fucked. Go buy my album.
Yeah.
You know, and I've definitely played into that too, though, of like having to make a bit of noise around a project or whatever. So let me crash out for a fucking little bit here and give the people something to watch. And it's like, through this journey, I'm at a stage where it's like, either watch the growth and clap for it, or don't watch.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it for anyone else now. You know, I'm at a point where I'm doing everything in my career is for me.
Yeah.
The music, what I'm rapping about, everything, the visuals, it's for me. It's not for anyone else.
Yeah. Throughout our conversation, you know, we talked about a lot of things, but there's always references to your family. I know how much your family means to you, you know, like from being a child to having your own children. They're your why. You've often mentioned your mum as being the driving force for your musical path. How is she seeing this transformation?
I know she gets super emotional, bro. Yeah. Because I know that she's had the thoughts. I know a lot of people in my family have, including Deezer. There's a lot of people who thought I probably wasn't going to make it at some point. You know, I remember Deezer having a conversation with me and Sam on tour, and he said, you know, in the height of my addiction, you know, probably 2022, he would go home to his parents and say, you know, I feel like I'm going to have to bury my best mate. And like to hear that come from my brother, who's younger than me, he's had his own experiences with addiction as a outside looking in. You know, he's had people around him that have gone through addiction, not me, you know, like he's seen shit from being young and seeing people suffer from addiction, and then for him to have to almost get re-traumatized by his best mate and have those thoughts of, fuck, my mate's gonna die. That fucking, you know, that's played on my mind heaps before, bro. And I know, like, Deezer and my mum have connected on that thought of, like, he probably shouldn't be here, you know? 2022 was bad, bro. Like, you know, I probably shouldn't be here with the amount of drugs I was doing and how much I was neglecting my body and my health. But it's, bro, fucking whatever higher power there is in the world, they definitely kept me here for some kind of reason.
And it's almost like it's an obligation now to fulfill that.
Yeah. Well, it's like, bro, I've had so many times in my life where I've been at the brink of basically death within my health. And it's like, I'm not a cat. You don't get 9 lives. I feel like I've had 20 lives. But you know, especially in the music industry. It's like you don't get chances to keep fucking up.
Yeah.
You can't keep having moments of, oh, he's off the rails again. No, he's back. He's off the rail. This, because then the fans feel like they're almost waiting. Like, when's he gonna go off the rails again? And I won't be that. I won't fucking be that, bro.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about your fans and how they've been reacting thus far. You know, we're starting to get the glimpse of this evolution. Has it been positive? Has there been negative reactions? Because like we said earlier in the piece, you know, like a lot of people had a certain expectation of who indigomerkaba is.
Yeah.
How's the reaction been so far by the fans?
It's been good. Yeah, like my genuine diehard supporters, they've always clapped for me. You know, good or bad. You know, it's been a good response to everything so far. But it feels like, pardon me, it feels like because I've had such a extensive break, you know, 18 months is a long time in the music industry. After 18 months away, I've lost so much traction and, you know, engagement on my different social media platforms. It almost feels like I'm starting again. And that's a mad feeling. You know, it almost feels like it's almost given people like enough time to forget the version of me that they hold to. So it's like seeing me pop out now, you're getting this new refreshed version of me. And it's cool feeling like I'm starting again. I'm rebuilding this thing again.
Yeah. And has there been any kind of negative reaction to?
Bro, it's
Part and
hip-hop.
parcel.
Yeah, this is hip hop, bro. You're not gonna please everyone.
Yeah.
Not everyone's gonna like what you're doing. And some people want to see the train crash.
Yeah.
And when there's no train crashing, let's find someone else who is. And that's cool.
Yeah.
That's mad.
And speaking of negativity, over the years you've dealt with a lot, whether it's through your own behavior or whether it's from reactions to songs or whether it's from peers in the industry. What is the difference between how you would have reacted to that before the transformation and how you would react to it now?
Well, coming in to this game and this scene and, you know, to be a part of this thing that I love, as everyone knows, like if you're a fan of me, you know, early in my career I did the song The Tribute, gave it up to everyone that inspired me.
Yeah, I don't think I was on that song.
My bad, bro. My
Tribute
bad.
Part 2 coming soon.
I actually have thought of a tribute part 2. But no, to answer your question though, bro, like I placed so much value and I wanted my peers' validation, probably more than I wanted to build a fan base.
Yeah, 100%. I think as an MC, that is the biggest sign of success or respect is your peers saying, yeah, like he's the guy.
Yeah. But I guess now I don't care for that. Like I don't care what other artists think of me. I placed so much value on that. And it's like you said, it's so gratifying when someone that you fuck with says, yeah, you're ill, you're dope. But it's like, it's a compliment from one person. Do you know what I mean? It's not the be all and end all of creating a career and building something. You know what I mean? I want to change the lives of other people. You know, I want the support and the compliments from strangers, people that aren't rappers. And I'm not chasing anyone else's validation, but my own first and foremost. And I'm not so much caught up in the wanting to fit in the industry or follow someone else's blueprint, or I don't want to. I'm not in with the cool kids and the, you know what I mean? I'm just doing my thing, bro. I don't care who fucks with it, who doesn't fuck with it. You know, negativity is always going to be a thing in hip hop. There's always going to be someone who doesn't fuck with you. There's always going to be someone who knows or remembers a version of you, and they will never get that version out of their head. Like, some people know me as a mouthy cunt who pops off at the lip and says irrational, out-of-pocket shit. And I'll hold that, bro. I'll wear that on my sleeve. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, certain hate is unwarranted or whatever. Like, bro, I'll put my hand up. That I've reacted foolishly many times throughout this career with a bunch of different MCs, even, you know, fans that have given me criticism, you know. But that was, you know, in that state of mind of using and being so out of touch with myself and being, you know, so consumed into the phone and this internet world that it's like what someone says about me or their critique of my song or what another artist thinks of me, it doesn't matter. Outside, it's beautiful. Life is beautiful. If you don't fuck with me, cool. That's mad. It doesn't actually affect me. If you don't like my song, you think my last shit was whack, whatever. It doesn't actually affect me here, sitting in this seat. And that's where I'm at now, bro. Like, people can diss, people can say what they want to say, take shots, whatever. Kudos to you. I'm not about that. I'm not trying to engage in anything negative. I don't have anything negative to say about anybody. I don't have any want to say anything negative about anyone. I'm just operating from, I'm trying to put food on the table for my kids and my wife. Anything outside of that doesn't matter to me, bro.
Yeah, I respect that. It's hard, you know, some days are easier than others.
Shit, yeah.
And it's always a work in progress, as with everything. But yeah, it's definitely the attitude.
Yeah, well, there's, like, I'll be lying to say that, you know, there's not the thoughts of
crashing
fuck,
out.
I'll clap back, I'll say whatever, but once again, what does that do?
Yeah.
What does a response to someone do for me?
Yeah.
Does me responding to any type of negativity create more opportunity, or does it hinder? You might get a moment where you might get some extra views on a, you know, because people love the drama, you know. I could do some shit that creates a moment, but moments don't give you a career, bro.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
it's not sustainable.
Nah. And negativity isn't sustainable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look at anyone who ever did some shit great in this thing we love called hip-hop. The ones who had business acumen and the ones who kept it about the art form and kept the dramas and the bullshit out of their careers, they're the ones who had 15, 20, 30-year-long careers.
Yeah.
You know, there's obviously people that have been able to, you know, like someone like a 50, he loves the trolling and shit, bro, but that's on brand for him.
Yeah.
He's never been anything
else,
but that, you know, how to rob, that was early.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. I'm doing me, I'm happy, I'm living my best life, bro. I don't have time to be engaging in anything negative with anybody for any reason. You know, there's no real issues with no one. If you got an issue, it's an issue within you, not me.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, yeah, you talked about careers and longevity. As with a lot of transformational kind of periods, it takes time to fully develop or even to start seeing any kind of difference.
Yeah.
You briefly talked about it before, about taking a step back and not releasing stuff in the same amount of frequency as you would have previous years. How's that been for you? Because I know you probably were just like sitting on songs and just raring to go.
It's such a different concept for me to not. Usually the process is record, stack, drop. You know, and taking this more methodical approach has been hard, bro. But it's also been very rewarding because it's like I see myself taking more time and being more thorough with the way I'm giving you the art. Like I think there's definitely a value in, you know, smashing something out and getting it out. You know, that still works. But I think for the people that are connoisseurs of the art form and want to see the way someone's mind really works as far as like a rollout or like well, even this, bro. You know, I wanted to do this interview here to coincide with, you know, those last scenes in Metamorphosis to, you know, be in nature and we're grounded. We got our feet in the dirt and
touching grass, as they say.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I want people to see the method to the madness a little bit more, opposed to just I work hard, I put shit out at a fast rate, I can do it at a frequent pace, you know? I want it to be quality over quantity. Not that I think I've ever, you know, put stuff out that isn't of high quality. I think I've always remained pretty solid in the quality too, but I want it to be a step above, like, because I'm trying to take this shit to another level, you know, like I'm very proud of the progress I've made as an artist and where I'm at in my career, but this is nowhere near the end game for me, bro. I'm trying to...
Well, it's just beginning.
Yeah, like I'm only just kicking shit off. I'm trying to be where the hoods are, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
I'm trying to do big boy shit. You know?
And even though the output hasn't been as frequent as it has been in the past, I know you're a prolific writer, so I know you must be sitting on demos.
Oh yeah. That just because I haven't been releasing don't mean I haven't been working, bro. I've been stacking joints.
Yeah. Even though the output of your music hasn't been as frequent as it has been in the past, I know you're a prolific writer, so knowing that, I know you must be sitting on a stack of demos.
Yeah.
How much can you tell us about where you're at with the demos, what you're planning for the rest of the year? What, you know, how excited can we get?
Oh, bro. So even though I haven't been releasing, I've been working my ass off still. So I've been stacking music the whole time I haven't been active. But all I will say is, for the people who know, pray for Sandalphon. He's 100% coming this year. I'm working on what's finished actually. I've got a 20-track mixtape with my bro Rise Up called Yin Yang. It's coming, which is
shout out to Rise Up also with the Bush. Shout
out to Rise Up with the chairs.
For the chairs and adjusting the chairs for the balance. Yeah.
But it's basically, you know, it's not super conceptual or anything like that. It's still mixtape-esque, but it's basically just positive and negative, push and pull, sad, happy is kind of the mood. I will say I've been working on my hook game, bro. I've been writing a lot more shit with hooks. You know, I'm notorious
with melodies or
there's one joint actually called I Shine, and I'm singing on that.
Okay.
You know, and not auto-tune singing. It's dope.
Keen for that.
It's a bit different, but I've been working on hooks and the structure of writing. You know, I'm notorious for just rapping for 4 minutes. You know, and although I love that, I want to be able to have some shit at the shows, because not everyone's going to be able to remember 4 minutes of just straight intricate raps.
Yeah.
You know,
I've seen those ones though that do. Next level.
Yeah, fucking oath. But yeah, I've got that 20 tracks. That's going to be out soon, and I'm tapped in with Rahj Jordan. Shout out to Rahj for editing and doing all this clip. He's a genius. But we tapped in last year at some point, and we've been slowly building this relationship of, you know, he's been sending me beats and I've been giving him feedback, and I'll send him tracks of, you know, where I'm going stylistically, and we've started building this, you know, early stages of a painting, which is hopefully going to blossom into a full project. But I'm super locked in with Rahj, and we're going to make something crazy. Like, I'm hoping, if it's not the back end of this year, early next year, you're going to get, I would like to hope, possibly my debut album, proper studio album.
Yeah. Awesome. Keen for that. You know, we're talking about who you're working with, but let's talk about what you're working with. You know, you briefly talked about it before, where you touched on it about your love for fashion. I myself love a good fit, you know, and I know you thought about what you wanted to wear today. So, you know, let's briefly go through this ensemble you put together.
Yeah, so I got the capital denim on the head.
Right.
I got the gentle monster shades. The Sierra M. Shout out to Keanu. Sierra M. I went Sierra, bro. That dude's a genius, bro. I really love Sierra M. You know, the quality is, it's up here, bro. You know what I mean? It's crazy to see an Aussie come out of this luxury fashion brand and it be done so tastefully. You know, the packaging, the tags, just, bro, this shit feels like $1 million, bro. You know. Yeah, I'm just sporting the little Casio, you know, leather band.
Right.
I got the Toy Story collabo Levi's, bro. You know. And then the West Side Gun Sauconys. Come on.
Yeah, the West Side. Pretty brave man to wear this, you know, wear those out in the bush.
This is what country. I do, bro. You know, this is fucking like breathing for me.
Yeah.
This is what I do.
Love it. And speaking of people that you admire, you know, we can't not talk about your top 5 dead or alive before this conversation is.
Damn.
Before we finish off this conversation, because everyone has their top 5 dead or alive, and your top dead or alive, not the top 5 dead or alive. Because whenever we talk about our top 5 dead or alive, oh, what about Tupac? What about this?
Yeah,
he didn't say, you know, Redman didn't say this and that. So this is his personal top 5.
Yeah. So I've got a few different lists, but I won't give you my 15 different lists. I'm just going to say my top 5 dead or alive, bro, it has to be, and in no particular order. I don't want to say the order because the order changes for me.
Yeah.
But Eminem, Wayne, Cole, Tupac,
Wayne, Cole, Tupac.
and then
is the 5th like interchangeable?
Yeah,
like,
I guess the 5th is interchangeable. You know, maybe one day it might be 50.
Yeah.
One day it might be Jay. It might be Kendrick.
But that first 4 is the first solid 4, right?
Yeah.
Starting 4.
Yeah.
5th interchangeable.
And I want to do my Aussie one too.
All right, let's do it. I'm keen to hear that.
Number one, I will do an order for
Excluding, present company. Yeah.
Now, number one for me will forever, always be Trem.
Yeah.
Trem is the undisputed. Alex Jones, Dr. Flea, whatever alias you want to remember him by. Wombat. Husky. And then I guess Lyrical Commission as a group,
Yeah.
That's
a cheat code, but I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess if you wanted to do the interchangeable thing, you could go The Hoods, Bliss and SO, Curse.
Yeah. Right. It's a mighty list. And it also shows how much, because that's the one thing I've really appreciated about you ever since seeing you is your love for those who came before you and the love and respect you have for the craft.
Bro,
and as someone that's part of the older generation, I love seeing that in younger generations. Like, obviously you don't have to be the biggest fan of, the artists that came, from the 70s, 80s and stuff, but just the acknowledgement and the appreciation.
Yeah.
I always love that, yeah.
For me, I remember KRS said in a I don't know whether it was one of his lectures or an interview or something, but I remember him saying, when you get into this game, you have to, if you're going to be a part of a culture, because people think hip hop and they just think rap. Hip hop's the elements, bro. DJing, b-boying, graffiti, fashion. This is a culture, bro. So it's like if you're going to be a part of this culture, you got to do the history and the homework on the origins, where this shit came from, who started this shit, and like you said, you don't have to necessarily be fans, but it's like you got to listen to Cold Crush Brothers, you got to listen to Big Daddy Kane, Eric B and Rakim. Like you got to listen to see how it's evolved from those early origins of hip hop, and I've prided myself on that, bro. In having the knowledge, but then also teaching. Like if I
sharing that. Yeah,
like if I meet some, like even Deezer, he's 5-6 years younger than me. I remember when I met him, bro, you got to go listen to Rakim. You got to go boom, 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 Slick Rick.
Yeah,
and just given that game of like, this is how this shit started. Like we wouldn't be here 50 years on in the culture if it wasn't for all these people,
Yeah.
Cool Herc, The Jam.
Yeah.
73?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's you got to do that knowledge, you know what I mean? Because it's like, that's where I get this thing of like, what are you in it for? If you're doing this hip hop shit or this rap shit to, because you've seen Drake pop up and be this popular pop artist who gets money and women and all this shit, and you don't care for the older side, like the actual history, you're in it for the wrong reasons. Like, you don't need to be a fan of KRS, you don't need to be a fan and 90s boom bap. You don't need to be that, but you got to understand it and know that we got to trap music and we got to all of this new sound through that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just love this shit, bro. Really, like aside from AFL and I've become a new fan of the NRL. Outside of a bit of sport on the weekends, bro, all I am is this shit.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning and I'm hip hop. That's all I am.
Yeah, and you can definitely feel that passion whenever you hear your music, and and I know it's not only kind of the older generations can appreciate that. We covered a lot of things today throughout our conversation, but when it's all said and done, what do you want the younger generations to take away from this chat and take away from your musical legacy?
I just want people to see that I'm on a different type of time. I'm a lot more focused. I'm locked in on the music again. I'm not chasing a viral moment. I'm not following trends. I'm just doing me. I'm being authentic and thorough to myself. I'm not trying to be no one. I'm not trying to put on no image. I just want people to feel the sincerity in my voice. I want people to feel the passion that I have for this art form and for this culture. And, you know, to the youth of today, bro, you've got to start moving smarter, bro. Like, all this postcode wars and fucking, you know, stabbing people and posting your crimes on the internet and fucking, bro, it's crazy, man. Like, you know, there's babies out here dying, getting put in the hospital, getting stabbed, you know, like the young kids moving on some time I've never seen. Like, I remember when I was growing up, you gave someone a fair one and that was it, bro. You shook hands after. Or if you pressed someone and they didn't want to fight, you might tease them and you'd leave them alone, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like the youth of today, stop being inspired by bullshit. Stop being inspired by fuckery. Like, it's cool to be positive. It's cool to move with love. It's cool.
It's cool to be smart.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to be reactive in situations. Like, it doesn't make you a pussy if someone says something about you and you don't want to defend your honor and, oh, I'll fight you, I'll smash you. It doesn't make you a pussy to not even engage. It's the better option. Protect your peace. You know, yeah, that's my closing message, I guess. It's just, without trying to come across corny or none of that shit, like, bro, I want to make being positive and being smart and, like, go read some fucking books. Pick up a book. Go read some shit. Go watch a David Attenborough documentary. Learn about some fish or something.
Yeah.
Like, bro, stop sitting on your phone for 10 hours a day and fucking scrolling through pointless shit. Go and touch the grass. Go and connect with nature. Go spend some time with your family. Go, you know, get off the fucking internet. Go create. Go paint. Go get a pair of jeans and cut them up, or just go create. Go do some shit that's positive, that feeds your spirit. If you've got something that makes you feel happy, makes you feel invigorated as a person, do it. Go do it. Don't worry about what your mates are going to say about you. Don't worry about how people are going to view you on the internet. Be yourself. Don't worry about anyone else's opinion. You know, I guess even to go back to the metamorphosis thing, bro, now when I look in the mirror, I feel genuine happiness. I didn't feel that feeling. I don't feel that feeling I had that morning looking at myself thinking, how the fuck did I get here again? Now I look at myself like, yeah, you got here.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah. So with that being said, anyone who tuned in, I love yous. Shout out to Rahj. Shout out to Deezer. Shout out to Sam. Shout out to Rise Up. Shout out to Matt. Shout out to How. Shout out to Nav on the camera, my boy. Shout out to Slippin'. Shout out the whole culture, bro. I love you all. If you hate me, I love you too.
Bless. Appreciate your time, bro.
No, I appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate the people of the Dark Nation as well, being in this beautiful setting. Well, we're about to strip down and take a dip. So we'll cut this off right here. Indigomerkaba, all the best for the future, my bro.
Love, my bro.